Bizarre Brain Comics. Hello, my comic book friends, and welcome to Bizarre Brain Comics. I am Gary, your host. This is where I like to take a look at some older comics, talk a bit about the characters and creators, and examine the stories and the art. This time, I want to talk about this book, The True Story of Smokey Bear. Yes. Did you know that there was actually Smokey Bear? And he was a spokesperson, spokesbear for what was it, the National Forestry Service or whatever they were, for fire prevention. And this is a book about him. Yeah. And this book was produced by contracted and distributed by the National Forest Service. But it was actually created by Western Publishing Company, which at this time would have been Dell when it was first produced. It's been reprinted ad nauseum for 60 years. And this is a modern printing. They stopped putting dates on these probably a long time ago for their reproduction. It is does say copyrighted by Forester Service and published by Western Publishing. But they were given out as freebies from the Forester Service, because this is like I said, a modern reproduction that I recently got, and it is a recent printing. You can tell by looking at it closely, hand with the modern, more modern paper and stuff. But I first got one of these when I was a little kid in elementary school back in the 60s. Yeah. We had someone from the Forester Service or whatever it was come to our school, and they talked about forest fires and the like. We had some kind of poster competition, and I made a poster featuring Smokey Bear. I can't remember what it was, and it was the first time I got one of these books. And over the years, something happened to it, and I wound up buying another one from a dollar bin in a comic shop sometime back in the 80s, and I got rid of it. Got rid of that, and again, just recently bought this one from online. And I wish I had the one that I had originally got when I was a kid. Okay, and Smokey Bear, of course, he is the cartoon spokesbear of the U.S. Forestry Service in wildfire prevention, and he's the longest running PSA, public service announcement campaign in U.S. history. Smokey is used to educate the public about the dangers of human-caused wildfires. Of course, now they say wildfires. You see the little commercials, and you hear the voice, "Only you can prevent wildfires." But of course, they used to say way back when, forest fires, because it's not just forests, forestry. And he made his first appearance in 1944. And that is when the campaign began. When it says only you can prevent forest fires. But the living embodiment of Smokey was a 3-year-old orphan black bear cub found in 1950 after the Capitan Gap fire in New Mexico. And firefighters saved the burned cub and he was named Smokey after the cartoon spokesman. But originally, the firefighters that rescued him, originally they called him Hotfoot Teddy. But they changed that. And he was raised, cared for and raised, and eventually spent he was used in the campaign. They had photographs, painted posters of him all over back then, and when he was still a cute little cub, and he was used in for educating people on forest fire prevention, and then was given a home in the zoo, Washington Zoo, and where he lived out his life there. And you can see this the cover. This great painted cover by one of those great Dell artists from back in the 50s. This was, of course, originally published in, I think it was 1960. And apparently, Western Publishing still had the license for the character, because in the 70s they had a few Smokey Bear comics that were sold at stores, done by Gold Key. I don't have any of them, but I saw them listed while I was looking for this one online. So, Smokey Bear. So let's take a little look inside. There you can see that cover. And the inside cover has some photographs of him. It has illustration from the campaign and stuff. And it starts its regular story, and it's being told by this eagle. Of course, by the end of the story, you just forget about the eagle. But he starts it off, talks about the forest, and we just see forest life, the little bear, and this start of the fire. Then we start to see the effects of the fire, how it was spotted, and then firefighters brought in, and how they fought the fire, and the terror and death that it brought in the forest. Nice illustrations. I don't know who this artist was. Rather generic style, but slick and professional. Probably did a lot of this kind of stuff, and it was undoubtedly one of the regular Dell artists. And shows the events, and then after the fire was passed, because they brought in the National Guard to help fight the fire. That's why these guys are soldiers and got dog tags and stuff. And then they found this one orphaned bear cub hanging in this burned out tree, and they saved him. And his feet and butt and stuff were scorched. They took him back, and then it shows, of course, the devastating aftermath in the area of the fire. Shows where it took place, taking him home and rescuing him, caring for him with his bandaged feet, and then how he was adopted for the campaign. He was cared for. He was used in touring around, so people wanted to see Smokey, the real Smokey Bear. Someone put the firefighters, the Rangers hat on him, and so they did modified their campaign around the baby Smokey. And you saw all his posters and stuff. And he was so cute on TV and the like. And then here how he was at the Washington Zoo, where he lived out his life. And yes, I remember seeing pictures of this before. He had, in his habitat, they had a cabin that they had listed as Smokey's Ranger Station. So, and how he has always been used for forest fire prevention. and still is. And it says, only you can prevent forest fires. And here we have all these samples of these, some of the campaign memorabilia, posters, books, and the like. And then some nice little stuff in the back here. And it is a fun little read, and it's a very informative. It's a great little bit of history, comic book history, and of course advertising, because it was a great advertising campaign for Smokey Bear. And I just love this cover painting, and I hope you do too. So please like Smokey, share Smokey. You got somebody who maybe has never seen or heard of this comic book, might be interested, or just to help spread the campaign around of preventing wildfires. So like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to leave a comment. Do you like Smokey Bear? Who doesn't like Smokey Bear? He's just cute and wonderful. And everybody in the U.S. knows Smokey Bear. We've all grown up with Smokey Bear. Do you have remembrances of Smokey or the Smokey Bear commercials or posters or other things like this? Let me know. And remember, comics are art.